And you know, me and my son felt it. When we first touched down, it was like it felt like a heaviness kind of lifted. So we felt like much lighter. Outside of just like the environment, like it's like the food is fresh, like in the sun. Those two things I think really hijacks people in the States, or just maybe even in the West. Like daylight savings time, like when the sun goes away, a lot of depression happens. Literally the last day of my job, I crashed my car. It was completely totaled. I was resisting a little bit. I was like, hey, like talking to, like praying to God, like, hey, like I'm actually not gonna go to Ghana. I'm actually gonna stay in the States. I'm gonna keep grinding and pushing myself and all of that stuff. And then literally on the last day of school, because I was a dance teacher, last day, bow, car completely gone. And I feel like that was like a word, or just kind of like a whisper from God. And it wasn't a whisper, it was a, hey, I don't think so, ma'am, you're going. Hi, my name is Alex, coming from the US to Ghana, and welcome to my home. Come on in. All right, so this is my family's home. I would say my Ghanaian family's home. And so when you walk in, we walk straight into our wonderful living area. Lots of playtime happens here. Dining room, dining table. And what's funny was that we were actually going to kind of put this table like in the center, which we'll go over, but we thought this would be a perfect place for it so we can all sort of eat together. So that's been nice. And we're gonna kind of move into the kitchen. And this kitchen has come a long way. When I first got here, none of this was here. Like it was just bare, straight wood cabinet, like without, you know, this type of wood, and the backsplash wasn't here. So this is the kitchen area. We do most cooking stuff at, and yeah, so we're going to head over to the Madison Arts and Allied Arts Center building. What brought me to Africa, what brought me to Ghana, is that my son's dad is Ghanaian. And so that's the house that we're in now, his mom's house. And so our relationship has been kind of like this, but we started as friends. We went to the same college and we became good friends. We started dating. And so like, he has always wanted to come here. He's always wanted to live here full time. And I'm a woman of the world. Before living in Ghana, I lived in China for almost a year, maybe like 8-9 months, give or take, teaching English. So I've always wanted to travel abroad. So what brought me here, when he said, yeah, I want to come to Ghana, I was like, I don't care what we're doing, where we're at in this relationship, I'm coming with you. Because again, we were really good friends. We had a really good, strong foundation. So he brought me here, and then I didn't even visit first. I kind of just came and I loved it. Like, I loved it. So that's what brought me here. He brought me here. Our director of programs right here, Hassan Bangura of the Madison Music and Allied Arts Center. We call it the MAC building just for short. I'm realizing I'm saying the whole name, but the MAC Center or the MAC building. So we'll go ahead inside.
Perfect. All right. So I'm imagining that we will receive you from the gate, and once we receive you, you will just come right on in. And this is kind of our main floor. When you come in, you see the grand piano, and this is going to be the things that we will be selling here at the center. So going into the yellow room, we get a chance to see our CEO and operations manager, if you will. It's also my mom and dad. And then over here is the blue room. And this is going to serve as a multi-purpose room. It's going to be just multifunctional. Right now, it's being used as just like an open seating area, as well as if there's any teachers or if there's a class that happens in here where we're doing painting or poetry, this would be a space that this could also happen. And then let's go on upstairs.
window, like I sweat and I be hot. I call it detoxing, okay? But I love the sunshine and the sun and like just the environment of Ghana. I love the food. A moment for the food. A moment. I love the food. I love the people. I love like the relationships that like Ghanaians have with one another. Like in America and the States, they don't wave. Like they don't really, like if you don't know the person, they're not going to speak to you. Like I feel like in Ghana, I see people just like honking the horn, waving, talking out the window, like, or just passing by, having these like really nice conversations. And so the relationships that people have here is so beautiful to see. And I love also being a part of that because they're also like, yo, where are you from? Like, and talking to me, and so that makes me feel included and just home, essentially. So, yeah.
So now let's go upstairs. A quick picture of all of the artists and teachers that are in the space, so you can kind of get a feel for what we do and see that we are professionals in this space. And then this is where the magic really happens. So it opens up to this open floor area, and this is where a lot of the movement workshops, this is our dance movement therapist, Alexandra, and we'll be doing a lot of movement, but it also serves just as an open space for people if they are, whether they're using that center, that space or this one. Before I open up that door, because that's my favorite part, I'm gonna bring you over to this section right here.
Luckily, I'm with family, so I spend $0 on rent. Transportation, I take my son to school every day, and that's about 70 cities. Just like activities, like going out and stuff, maybe around like $250. On food, $200 USD that I'm spending on groceries and like cooking and stuff. I don't eat out as much. I don't eat as much, like, so transparency moment is something that I feel like I wish I kind of knew more about when I got here too, was typhoid. So like we had got typhoid when we came here, maybe like 2 months in. And so like eating out and just like not being like as like, I'm just like eating, I'm a food girly, so I'm just eating. So I ended up getting typhoid. So since then, I don't really spend a lot of money on eating out. Like most, I just, and compared to the US, compared to the US, like what really ate up my money was daycare. Daycare was $1,600 a month that I was spending. So that was like most of my little check was gone to go into my son going to daycare and going to school. Food, $500 per month on groceries, and then going out, $400 going out. I was living with my mom at the time, so I still wasn't spending money on rent, but I would still like give her something, here and there. So very big price gap. Yeah.
And this is pretty much where a lot of the arts is going to take place. So the painting, the poetry writing, even public speaking can happen here. But this is where a lot of that will happen. So as you can see, we have kind of our canvases and our stands, and then it's also going to serve as like a little coffee shop / refreshment area for anyone that comes in to get some refreshments. And then now I can take you to my favorite place. You've got a chance to kind of go around and get a feel. We want this place to feel really open. And so this right here, and I'm gonna let you go in first and just kind of panel the outside. And this is my favorite place in the whole Creative Arts Center space. This space allows for artists to be able to draw some inspiration, to just kind of come out here and exhale. The breeze here feels amazing, but this is just my favorite feature in this space for artists and creatives alike. So.
has been the bedrock of civilization over a period of time. And if we parallel developed nations or societies, you realize that they took very critical interest in the arts. And while different cultures have ways of nourishing their arts, sometimes it's not structured. So you would like individuals that have an orientation of structured approaches towards developing the arts to be in a program like this. Alex seems to have that type of orientation. Not seems to. If you have seen her interpretive dances, you will understand what I'm talking about. So being part of this enriches the program. We think that even Ghana, with the so many different ethnic groups, the different ethnicities and their interpretations of the arts, whether poetry, whether dance, and etc. It's very abundant, but we need to start cataloging and also structuring them. And so we will need individuals that are of that orientation. That is what we are doing here. This year is my 40th year as a lecturer. And during that journey, I can say I have mentored a lot. Around 2003, we even did a pilot program called the Piano Lab. But we realized that we couldn't just play piano, so sometimes we had piano works enacted. So if you look at it, enacting it comes with some type of poetry. It also comes with some type of movement. So we have evolved, let's say in the past 20 years, into this. Yes. This building, we are hoping that it will serve an idea of using the arts to affirm life. We are here. Alex will do her part in dance, with dance and in dance. And the rest of us will do ours too. I compose. I write effortlessly, so I will also do my part. I'll look at some of her dances and I'll write something. Yes.
So I do a few things. I have my hands in a few baskets. Right now I'm doing social media management. It's something that I thought I would not be doing, but I am. So I kind of do social media management for a few companies. I think that's like a really great way for like people who want to live abroad to like make some income, because social media is just kind of on the rise as we kind of continue on. And also I am the movement director at Madison's Music and Allied Arts Center. It's a new center, and it's actually right there. So it's a center, and so I teach dance and movement, and I kind of also help like with some social media stuff as well. And currently I'm working on doing dance and movement therapy online. So that's a newer venture, but it's kind of also opening my diversifying my income a little bit. So doing some stuff around the world and, you know, getting virtual work in that way. I was surprised that it could match like my life in the U.S. or the spending in the U.S. What I love, like Ghana is developing, and like so many things are being offered. Like so many, like there's lots of events, lots of, like I said, like a matcha shops are popping up, and like wellness clubs, and like all of these things are like popping up, but they have a kind of high dollar. So I did kind of expect like Ghana to be like, oh, I can get this for like very little, but no, like it can kind of match a little bit. So I've also talked to a few Ghanaians who are like, yeah, like Accra is really getting up there in price. So that was one thing that shocked me. And saving, I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress. And like Ghana is so tempting because like even like just like buying clothes, like buying good clothes. I can get really good, like quality clothes, and I love that. And I want to spend my money on it. So we're working on saving. We're working on it, but I do think it's a little easier for me to save my money. It goes a longer way.
Hey Web Nation family, something real is happening now. Spots for our November trip 2026 is actively being taken and people are booking now as you watch it. That means this is no longer an idea, it's happening guys. It's real. If you've been watching these stories and you are feeling that pull and you're telling yourself, I will do it someday, that someday is now. Right now you can secure your spot with just a deposit. Now, if you want a payment plan, then your deadline for payment is this April 30th. The question is simple. Are you coming? Click the link in the description now to secure your spot or scan the QR code and I'll see you in South Africa. Now, let's get back into it.
Yes, I have. So I'm also teaching ballet at my son's school, at Shield International School. So I have a contract with them. And so that's been pretty nice. All of the other opportunities that I've gotten has been like me trying to like volunteer and me trying to like just spend time. And from that, I can get some like one-off jobs. So like I volunteered at a orphanage of teaching dance and doing dance movement therapy, which was nice. And so like I can partner with the organization that is kind of helping support the orphanage. And so some opportunity has come through there. The States is a lot more competitive. And so like it might take a while for you to kind of maybe get some kind of contract going. And there's a lot of like legal involved. So like it's a big process. So you can get some opportunities maybe, but it's more competitive. You might have to like, you know, do a whole lot of this, that, and third. I'm gonna start with having a strong sense of home. So in the States, I moved every year from city to city, from my mom's house to Richmond. So I've been moving a lot, but like Ghana made me feel, or made me kind of realize that I need to be settled. And it's like a connection to home and connection to family. So like my family and I, we're a little disjointed because we're a little bit everywhere. And then also like as, you know, like the older generation, they get older and you got your cousins, but like, you know, like they're getting older. They ain't trying to like do all these events all the time. So it's up to like the aunties and the cousins to like get together. So I feel like being here gave me like this feeling of you need to connect to your family. You need to connect to your roots. You need to connect to home. So that feeling and patience as well. Things run much slower. And I like to say like, it's like a soul time. Like, in America, it's white people time, okay? It's this, that, and that's where we go. But here, it really like teaches you to slow down, be patient, take your time, and like move by the spirit, not so much by what like everyone else has going on. So that's been my favorite things that I've learned and just taken so far. Yeah, just like unlearning all of the things that I felt like I was supposed to do. Being in a rush, I had to unlearn that. And then I'm going to say this like as like also something that was kind of something suggested was like, I know like the roads, like I know y'all came here and you saw the rickety kind of moving like that. And I know that's something that is, I see it being worked on, but it was really tough. Like it was really tough kind of making it with my son because he's very, he likes to move around a lot. So that in conjunction with the road, we was having a time. We was having a time and we're just kind of now adjusting and getting used to it. He's now sitting down and like, you know, just, yeah, but that was a big adjustment, like the roads. And you know what too, one more thing is getting things done. Getting things done requires a level of patience. It requires a level of just realizing that you might not get all of those things done in a day. You might have to spread it out a few because things run a little slower. My sacrifice is kind of like having the time to build connections with my family. So what I was kind of talking about earlier with like, the aunties and uncles are getting older and stuff like that. And like, my son can't be around his cousins that are there. So I don't have like the opportunity to kind of build those relationships. And my son doesn't get that opportunity as well. And I would say like this is like a sacrifice, but it felt to me more like a sign. So literally the last day of my job, I crashed my car. It was completely totaled. And I remember that morning saying like, hey, like I was resisting a little bit. I was like, hey, like talking to like praying to God, like, hey, like I'm actually not going to go to Ghana. I'm actually going to stay in the States. I'm actually going to live my, like I'm gonna keep grinding and pushing myself and all of that stuff. And then literally on the last day of school, because I was a dance teacher, last day, bow, car completely gone. And I feel like that was like a word or just kind of like a whisper from God. And it wasn't a whisper, it was a, hey, I don't think so, ma'am, you're going. So it was like that sacrifice of like maybe an American dream that I had, like unconsciously, like I wanted to make it work. So like I had to let that go. It was like a grieving of like letting that type of life go, and I'm gonna have to like step into something new, step into a new person. So that was a big sacrifice. Like, yeah, those two.
So guys, YouTube told us that 72% of you guys watching have not subscribed. Maybe you forgot. Please do subscribe. It doesn't cost anything, it's free. That's how you show your support to us, and we promise to bring you an amazing content every week, twice a week at this point. So please subscribe now and stay tuned to Web Nation Africa.
They were not shocked at all, because this is what I do. I kind of, like I said, I've been moving a lot. And so they were like, oh, you're going to Ghana? Oh, okay, please send us back something, and you know, like just enjoy it. Like they were kind of like encouraging and supportive. I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to everybody, but they were like, okay, well, we just got you back, so go ahead. So they were really supportive. It 100% helps that there's family here. That really does help. That they encourage me to, like, hey, make sure you get out, make sure you do the things that you enjoy doing, and like learn a bit about the people that are here and like make connections, essentially. So it was a lot of like pushing and encouraging from them. And I feel like the secret too is like doing the same thing over and over again. So it's like if it's a yoga class, go to that same yoga class maybe at the same time, and you get to like really meet like people. And I'm also in a lot of group chats. That's been really helpful. Like a lot of the diasporan group chats. And so they're like always kind of wanting to link up and do stuff like that. So that's been really nice, making community that way. And you just have to be open. You have to speak to people. Like if you are in like your little westernized little individual bubble, it's not going to work, because you need to speak. So I speak, I start conversation, just even in an Uber or when I'm like going to an event. And that's another thing, Ghana has a lot of events. Now, did I say that? Ghana has a lot of events, and there's always something to do. So if you go out, you're bound to like meet people. So that's been my experience. I do. I feel like a completely different person. Again, I feel just more at peace. And when you get a chance to like really rest and like move kind of with life instead of trying to force it, you just, your brain opens up. Your mind, the things that you can do, the things that you believe in, like the I mean, I already kind of had a confidence, but this confidence is different. Of like, I can knowingly move through the world, anywhere in the world, and like find opportunity and like find growth and find family. Like it made me feel like I can, I don't know, I feel like I can do anything, but I can kind of do anything. So I do feel like a completely different person. I got so excited when I got here. So I was, like I said, just eating, buying, just not being aware of my money, really. I was just so happy to be here. So I was really engulfed in Ghana. So I was like eating so much food, buying this, buying clothes, just like buying so much stuff that I'm not gonna say I didn't need per se, but just not being mindful, just too much enjoyment. Almost too much enjoyment. The length that people go to help you. Example, kind of a small story. I was, when I was in the Uber, I was going to get my son from school, but then the Uber, like, I think something happened with his car, but then like 3 or 4 people came to like help and like, hey, like, what do you need? Da, da, da. Like, I can't understand the language, but I understand context. So it's like, they kind of came together to help him with his car. In the States, baby, it might take you maybe 2 hours for someone to might stop to like check in and make sure like you're good, you know, or people speculate, but they don't take action. A lot of people here, they take action in helping people that they don't even know. So that was really surprising, but it was a very pleasant surprise. Made me feel safe, really safe. I'm like, so something were to happen to me, I know somebody's gonna stop at least. So that was nice. And it kind of ties into the peace part as well. It's like, that gave me peace to like know that. And the way that Ghanaians celebrate and the way that like I feel like everything is kind of calls for celebration. And I love that. I feel like that's like culture, it's a very cultural thing. And also to know that like Ghana is so rooted in Christianity and just how like going to church, how churches are, they're not super different from Baptist churches. Like the music is still like pumping and people are still like celebrating and shouting and praying. Like I feel like that was kind of like, I was surprised to see that. Like I was like, wow, like this is relatable. I can see that. And the fashion, the Ghanaian fashion, the way just like people dress, it's like you step outside and it's like, that's nice, I want that. Or like it's a aura. It's an aura of like, I'm here, this is how I'm showing up in the world. So that's nice. I want to kind of own a business in Ghana. So, I mean, I'm doing a virtual dance therapy, but I would love to open like a movement studio here and just like offer just like traditional dance, all different types of dance and like yoga, Pilates, just something to like get movement going. And I want to build my own home here. I would love to do that. And I feel like it might look like doing some bi-continental living. So like I might like go home because I'm my mom's only daughter. And so unless I can convince her to come to Ghana, I will probably have to go back and forth just to make sure like everything she's okay. So yeah, kind of having a dual life, but still like being really rooted like here. Come earlier, because my son's dad was convincing me maybe like, I'm gonna say like 3-4 years ago. Yeah, my son's 4 now. Yeah, like 3 years ago, he was like, we should go. And I was like, oh, I'm not ready. Oh, I need to do this. Like kind of trying to like have a to-do list of like hitting certain points. And I think that's a Western thing. We like to say, oh, if we have, you know, if I have this together, then I can do that. And it's like, then you add another thing. And so now you keep building up to-do lists to do the thing when you can just say, hey, I'm just gonna do it regardless. And so I wish I would have like kind of changed that mindset of it and just like, hey, just go, don't worry, like it's gonna be fine. So I like to give advice that's more like from the spirit, not like a technical thing. I would say just like take that leap and just build your community. Like, because with that you can get through anything, any mishap, any spending mishap, or like just build people around you, because that's what's really going to like help you stay. I see a lot of people, they leave and they like, oh, I can't do it, da da da. But every time I hear that story, they don't have a community, they feel alone, or they're still kind of living like they did in the States, and that's not going to work for here. Like you really have to take yourself out of that colonized individual mindset. So